Welcome to the Jefferson Exchange and our food series, Savor. Today, host Will Smith visits with Rogue Valley baker Jennifer Plitzko, who specializes in German and European baked goods.
You're listening to Savor on Jefferson Public Radio, where we talk about all things food related with a focus on keeping it local. I'm your host, Will Smith. Thanks for joining us today. Today, I'm speaking with Jen Plitzko, a baker that I met at the Ashland Farmers Market a few weeks ago. I was wandering through, looking at all the vendors, and I came up across your tent with the absolutely most beautiful, mouth-watering pastries and dessert items, and they definitely did not look like they were made in this country.
Oh,
So welcome.
thank
Um,
you.
so Baker, what's your background a little bit?
Yeah. I moved to Southern Oregon a year ago. And before that, I was in Portland for a decade. And way before that, I actually was based out of Germany. That's where I grew up. I was born there. And then I also, after I finished school, I did an apprenticeship there. So I learned my trade by working for years in a
Sure.
couple different businesses.
Were you baking in Portland as
I
well?
was also baking in Portland.
Okay.
Yep, I've actually been baking for probably 17 years now.
So good.
I know. It just means I'm getting older. So
Well, it shows.
yeah.
A beautiful.
That I'm getting older? No.
No, beautiful, beautiful products.
Thank you. Thank
Like
you.
your table was, I was really drawn to it because there's many bakers at the market, but yours were significantly more beautiful and more handcrafted, and I knew I wanted to talk to you. So after studying in Germany, were you with a bakery or a
I
bread
was,
maker?
yeah. So while I was in Germany, the apprenticeship works differently than you would imagine learning something here. You do go to school, but you find a bakery or a business to work for,
All right.
and so they employ you. You also get paid a little to be in the apprenticeship. They send you to school either once or twice a week, depending on how advanced you are in the apprenticeship. They usually run for around 3 years. And then after that, after you're finished, they might still keep on employing you.
And where in Germany was this?
This was actually in Münster, which is the west part of Germany. It's
Okay.
unfortunately not where the coveted cheese is from.
Okay.
Yes, it's more the west. It's close to the border to the Netherlands.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because some of your items reminded me of Nordic kind of spins
Yeah.
on baked goods.
For sure. And I mean, everything that I offer at the farmer's market, most of it is versions of things that I myself picked up somewhere.
All right.
And there are things like, when was it? Last fall, I visited San Francisco, and then I had a really amazing rose pistachio pound cake. And I knew I wanted to recreate that, so I did. But a lot of the things that I offer, they have like a little bit of a history.
Sure.
Yeah, which also actually is reflected. I guess I'm hoping to reflect that into the baked goods because that's also what my business name means.
Right.
Yeah, Heim means the feeling of home in German. And so I'm hoping that people will see something or find something in the lineup that might remind them of some home-baked something or other that they picked up
I love
either
that.
either with family, with friends.
Yeah.
They were on a trip and they had tried something.
I love there's the story behind each thing.
Yes, for sure.
I love that. And
Yeah.
and Jen's website is Heim dash creative.com. Please look her up. I also noticed on your website that you have been a potter as well in the spare time.
Yes, that has definitely been a hobby that has, unfortunately, since I moved, fallen by the wayside a little bit.
I'm
So I
sure
will,
you can't do everything.
unfortunately, not. I need to sleep. Now that I'm getting older, I need to sleep more too.
Right.
But it's something that I know it will bring me a lot of joy when it comes back
Sure.
more strongly into my
It's
life. Yeah.
beautiful. I was taken by the glazes that you use. They're quite
Oh,
beautiful.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. So you brought some gifties for us, but I
Yes.
love that they also have a story attached to them too.
They do, yeah.
So tell us,
Actually, yeah. So
tell us about
I brought
this.
3 different things. So I brought the most popular pastry at the market, And yeah, a lot of people's favorite. It's called the Queenette, and my version is with cardamom sugar. It's kind of a riff on Queen Amande, which is a French pastry that's basically not just layers of butter like a croissant, but also sugar layered into those layers. So it caramelizes. It's sweet, buttery, and really really lovely with the cardamom. And when you see it in person, you see the layers.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it
And
kind of has like a crunchy top,
this is
and then the bottom is softer.
the downside of radio is you can't see it.
Unfortunately, yeah.
It's, it's quite beautiful. And then the smaller.
Yeah, so I brought a poppy seed bar. So that's one of my specialties. And that
Okay.
one would be very typically German. Oftentimes in Germany, they work with a yeasted dough and then they put a poppy seed filling on top of it. I decided to go with a shortbread crust, and it's a lemon shortbread. And then there is some streusel, so some crumble on top, as well as some lemon glaze. And that's actually one of the favorites of the farmer's market as well. And surprisingly, there are a fair amount of Germans in Ashland, but also in general in Southern Oregon, and they love it. So it reminds them
So,
of home.
no, I love
Yeah.
that. And I'm thinking some of my customers that I see regularly are German. So yeah,
Send them
there's.
my way.
I know
The taste of
exactly.
home.
Exactly.
I also brought some mango passion fruit caramels. I feel like that's a flavor that's not as common. That's a riff off of a caramel that I had in Paris, and I just loved it so much. It's also mango passion fruit. It's from this guy, Jack Chenin. He does amazing caramels, but also pâte de fruits, which is like basically fruit jelly. And yeah, it's really amazing. And a lot of caramels are very, very chewy and kind of jaw breakery.
Right.
And I pride myself on my caramels being pretty soft and kind of more melt in your mouth.
Very nice.
Shout out to butter.
I was wondering, from Germany,
hmm
you also did apprentice in Paris.
Well, yes, that was actually part of an internship that I was able to
Okay.
take part in,
And
which
then
was really
and then you also hit the UK as well.
I did. There's an amazing chocolatier, William Curley, so I worked for him for a half a year.
So amazing.
Yeah.
This is why you have to try Jen's wares. They're absolutely delicious and very unusual for here. And that's the other question. How did you end up in Ashland?
Right. So my partner and I, we were looking for a sunnier place to live. She's from Portland originally, and we met there. And I myself in Germany grew up in a smaller town. And even though she is from Portland, she basically spent her 20s living in smaller communities.
Sure.
And so we wanted to move somewhere that had more of a community feel, like a smaller, I guess you could call it like a granola artsy vibe.
Right. Right.
And so we decided on Southern Oregon. And a little bit more sun definitely helped matters along too.
Great.
Yeah.
This is Savor on Jefferson Public Radio. I'm your host, Will Smith. I'm speaking with Jen Plitzko of Heim-creative.com, a fantastic German baker who is arrived pretty newly in the area. So how are you finding Ashland?
So I live in Medford, and I love it. Everyone's been really, really nice and welcoming. We have great neighbors. The farmers market community has really embraced me, and also us, I would say. I mean, my partner has a week job or job during the week,
Right.
but on the weekends when I do the Ashland Saturday market, she helps out with me.
Oh, super.
So yeah.
Do you have staff that's helping you bake?
No, it's just me.
Just
One
you.
woman show.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
It's hard work.
It is. It is. And it comes with a lot of positives
Sure.
and also pitfalls, of course.
Yeah.
I had a brick and mortar in Portland for 3 years, 2 normal years, and then a COVID year.
Yeah. But that's bummer.
So things in that COVID year were definitely different.
I bet.
And it was, while I had the cafe and the staff and the team, I actually wasn't baking that much anymore myself. I just was baking once a week. I was managing the place. I was also having to do a fair amount of just front of house work and showing up and managerial stuff. And I realized that I prefer just being a little baking elf in the kitchen.
I have a very good friend. She used to be my assistant in New York. She's just opened a bagel bakery in Charleston, South Carolina. And I have to tell you, she doesn't sleep much.
Oh, I bet.
And she's a one-woman show too.
Wow. Yeah.
Just with staffing, people not showing up for work, etc. Well,
Oh,
that
exactly. That's
and I
always
love
a
that everything comes around. So it's like you dodge the brick and mortar, and you're actually probably a bit
I
happier.
I am happier. I'm much more relaxed. I get more sleep. Yes, all of the above.
That's
Yeah.
so
And I
good.
have more flexibility to be able to take little trips, enjoy the beautiful Pacific Northwest, but then
Yes.
also it's pretty cool that the farmers market breaks in winter.
Yeah.
I know not in Grants Pass, but then the Rogue Valley Farmers
Yeah.
Market or Growers Market breaks in winter, so that allows me to potentially go and travel
Right.
and yeah, eat new food and get inspired.
Do you get back to Germany often?
I am going back to Germany this August, so I'll
Uh,
be taking the month off
so
and
good.
I will be eating all the pastries and bread.
It's a good month to get out of town.
It is, yes. I know.
I did want to talk a little bit about what the full range of products that you're doing.
I do work with flour and butter, so dairy and also gluten. I do have some really amazing flourless pastries that just lend themselves
Sweet.
to be flourless. For example, a cheesecake that there's some cornstarch in there, or other pastries that are made with almond flour, or a little bit of rice flour thrown in there. The pistachio rose cake, that one's also flourless,
Oh, nice.
and so yeah, there's I think if you look at the range of products that I offer, it really is pretty diverse, as in, yeah, not just like some cookie. I also have cookies, but some cookies and muffins and coffee cake. But I really try to offer different doughs like brioche, and then I have the quignettes. And on the flourless side, what's really popular is a flourless chocolate tart au chocolat. I've also leaning on a French recipe. And I also have always been doing a pastry of the week, and I do different seasonal pastries. So I kind of switch up the lineup a little bit too.
And I think that's the best to keep you like engaged.
Yes.
To do that like special item that's kind of fun for you. It's kind of like a play day.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then it's also cool to receive feedback from my regulars and from the
Sure.
clientele. For example, this coming week, I will be doing another round of a panna cotta, a buttermilk panna cotta, and I received some really good feedback on that. And so I really try to kind of stay with the season, and then also draw on products and produce, fruits, berries that I can find at the farmers market once the time comes.
How have you been here in this? Well, you've been in Portland, so we have some beautiful fruits in the summer here.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And the berries are just out
Ama-
of the world. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about this, though. Like, what is the procedure of making this?
Yeah. So it's a yeasted dough. Quinette is a yeasted dough that it goes through 2 rises before I take a butter block and incorporate that into the dough. Then I roll out the dough and I sprinkle sugar before doing the folds, and I
Right.
kind of fold it like a letter. And then I do that 3 times. Each time, every fold gets a whole bunch of the cardamom sugar.
Okay.
And then ultimately, I kind of roll it up like a cinnamon roll, or like you would a cinnamon roll,
Sure.
something with filling. Cut it, and then those are kind of I open up the rounds a little bit before plopping them into some silicone forms, and so they kind of open up top a little bit, like some people might equate it to like a rose, kind of opening up some
Yeah.
sort of.
It's quite beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm going to eat that shortly.
Yes. Oh, please do. Yeah. I know. I wish you could eat it fresh out of the oven.
I know. I bet.
Yes.
I bet.
I know it's dangerous for me. Yeah. As I get older, I also have to watch out how many pastries I eat.
Exactly. Well, that's a true sign that you're in the right profession.
Absolutely.
I can see your passion in it.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. I love it for sure. I love food.
You've been listening to Savor. This is JPR's Regional Food Podcast. You can find this program and more on our website at jeffexchange.org or subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you, Jen Plitzko. Everybody, seek her out at the farmer's market.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Eat well.